So as you see, there's a ton of different people in here. Everyone has a different need. Everyone's at a different stage. And that's awesome because you have a real chance here to network with people. I can guarantee some people's going to be smarter in other areas. Some people are going to be smarter in this area, and I'm going to pick your brains a lot because I love to be around smart people. And we all have something that we can share, something that we've experienced that we're going to be able to help each other with. So that's what I think the spirit of this whole event really is just getting out, networking, and sharing a little something that we all learned. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk for just a few minutes a little bit about kind of 5 tips or 5 things that I've learned in building up our business. And I'd like to say that I invented all these and they're all my ideas, but quite frankly, that's just not true. There's a lot of smart people in the world, and what I try to do is listen to people who have been there, done it before, and kind of then make some of those ideas my own in our own business. So that's really kind of what we did. So I'll tell you a little bit about us. Look at that. Welcome, come in. Hi. The name of our company is TakeLessons, and what we do in essence is our mission is to inspire an entire generation of people to play music. And what we do is we give private lessons and run school programs for any type of music lesson on a nationwide basis. So if you're needing, do we got any voice stars out there? Anybody on American Idol? No? No? Any musician in here at all? Got a couple? What do you play? Yeah. Sweet. It's awesome. And the rest of you, if you need lessons, now you know where to go. Since we were founded in 2004, and since then what we've done is really worked on a very strategic plan to establish ourselves as a nationwide company. And now we have a footprint in about 2,800 cities all over the U.S. And what we do is we actually physically hire instructors to work for us. They go through an entire vetting process. And the problems that we're really trying to solve are twofold. Number one, if you're an artist, you kind of understand that it's sometimes artists are not necessarily the best business people. And a lot of times all they want to do is create music and teach. And so what we do is we handle all of the business things. Booking, billing, scheduling. We've kind of built all our web technologies around that to take all the pain away from running and managing a business as kind of like a one-off type person. And we bring all that in-house and run that through our corporate center. On the second side, the way that the company was founded, I was a rock star in my own mind in an earlier life, and play out here in San Diego and LA and Phoenix and those types of areas. And I remember one time I was looking for a vocal coach at the request from my bandmates, and they're like, "Dude, you got to get a little help." So I was looking for a vocal coach, found this awesome instructor who was down kind of in the Logan Heights area here in town, and paid $400 to start lessons. And I showed up for my very first lesson, and there was a note on the door. It's like, "Hey, I found this gig. I'm actually leaving for China. Can't teach you." I'm like, "Okay, well, shit, that sucks. But what do I do now?" So I tried calling the guy, and he was already in China with my $400. And I'm like, "Wow, this really, really sucks." And so I was talking to my bandmate Enrique about it. He's like, "Yeah, well, that's kind of the way things happen, and a lot of times we're looking for students, but we don't know where to go, and these people who are looking for teachers don't know where to go." And so that's where our idea spawned from, was really trying to help both of those people come in and provide a great service on both sides. The idea got incepted in 2004. We actually physically launched our first site in 2005. And again, kind of what we did is built out software. We're internet geeks. This is kind of my third startup. I had a couple prior startups that I had worked out. One was a thin client software application for e-commerce back before the bubble burst. And that company actually went from about 8 of us, I was a founding employee there, to about 450 people in a period of about a year and a half. And just kind of exploded. It was kind of at the right time. And then, of course, what comes up surely comes down. And so I was in my 20s, and I kind of experienced that ride of the internet bubble and learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about business, about what I wanted to do with my life and what I wanted to make out of my business. And that's basically, and which comes back to one of our values in our company, it's build something that you're proud of and build something that has lasting value. And that's kind of what I've been purposely focused on. You guys have heard of maybe Jim Collins. He wrote Good to Great and a couple other books. One of his things, it's called a BHAG, and that is a big, hairy, audacious goal. And it's something that kind of drives us internally. And so what we want to be known as in our company is the Starbucks of music lessons. So if you think of, oh, where do I go? How do I get music lessons? We kind of want to be the first in people's brains. So that's kind of a little bit about us. And so what I'm going to do is kind of share a few stories as we go through and give you kind of the five things that, again, it's just from my own personal experience and people that have mentored me in kind of getting from point A to where I've got this thing or I've got this idea to kind of step by step, what's that next process? How do I get going to the next level? So number one, this is something, how many tech people that we have? Tech people? Okay, about 30 or 40% it looks like. This is something you guys have all experienced, I'm sure. It's just I call it the MySpace Facebook phenomenon. And that is everybody thinks that they're going to build the next MySpace. Everyone thinks they're going to build the next Facebook. And they have these huge ideas, and they're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to build this up. MySpace went from 0 to 200 million members in a period of just like 3 years, and I think I can do it in a year and a half. And they're always looking to sell out. Always looking to do it the very first exit so I can just get out and take my money and go bling it up and buy a new Porsche and go get girls. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm here to tell you is that's normally not the way it happens. Those are anomalies. Chris also works here at TakeLessons. We have a buddy, and they're constantly looking for a way to just try to get someone else to buy their bad product. You know, and they haven't. They don't understand that entrepreneurism it's a long, arduous process. I was talking with Joan a little bit earlier about it's not necessarily about the quick hit. The quick hits are very, 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 very rare. They can happen, and they get all the press and all the glory, but that's normally not the way it is. So what I'm here to say is if you're going to jump in and be an entrepreneur, look at it as a long-term idea. It's not even a year. It's not 2 years. We look at it kind of as 10 years. That's kind of our areas. How do we develop a business over a period of 10 years? And when you have that, what it does is, first of all, it grants you a little bit of leeway to say, yeah, okay, I know if I'm going to be involved in this, it's got to be something that I really, really care about. Because you can imagine working for 5 or 10 years, 50, 60, 70 hours a week on something that you really just don't care about. That would absolutely suck. So that's one thing that I've learned is find something that you're really, really passionate about. If you can't get passionate about it, I can tell you it's an uphill battle even if you are passionate about it. And if you're not passionate about it, the probabilities of success just dwindled greatly. And that's really what being an entrepreneur is. It's right, how do I mitigate risk? How do I take all the risk? Because it's an uphill battle. The idea of taking something from concept and an idea up to market and making money on it is something that very few people can do, right? If you talk to your friends and you're like, yeah, I'm working on this particular project, and they look at you like you're like some three-headed monster, it's because most people can't do this. Most people don't even have the entrepreneur bug to think, wow, maybe that is something that I can do. And if you have that, that is absolutely a gift. Because I can tell you right now, 95% of the people that I talk to, they couldn't do it. They don't want to do it. It's not in their chemical makeup. So first of all, pat yourself on the back because you are a very, very unique breed. Oh, a couple of people actually doing it. Nice. Oh, I didn't see you pat. There you go. All right, cool. But you should be proud of it. And again, so that's kind of the first thing that I learned is if you're going to put your time and efforts on, there's nothing more valuable than your time. And now I'm not in my 20s anymore, and I'm in my 30s. And time seems to be ticking by even quicker and quicker and quicker. And the more you realize it, it's like, wow, you have to be spending your time on something that matters. You have to be doing something that you're absolutely passionate about, or, again, the risk of failure just increases greatly. Number 2, this says have confidence in your ability. It's actually abilities. And this is something that, again, I find that most entrepreneurs don't have that much of a problem with. Are you all pretty like, yeah, my idea is going to be the absolute greatest, right? You've got to have a little bit of narcissism and a little bit of faith to even tackle any types of problems like this at all. So I would say is absolutely make sure that whatever you're doing, you're passionate about and you believe in your own abilities. If you don't believe in your own abilities, build your team around the areas where you're absolutely the weakest in, right? As this young lady was talking about. She understands, okay, I have confidence in my abilities to create. I have my confidence in my abilities to create a product that no one's ever seen for a hot and ice cold pack. But I know what else I need. And that kind of takes it to the next one. But never, ever, 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 ever believe your own hype. There's what you tell people on the outside and what you tell investors, and you have to paint a good picture. But it's very, very important that you understand is that you don't let your own optimism control reality. There's, I'm sure some of you are traders or investing. I see investment folks here, a couple folks that are in the investment business. And one of the rules there is always trade the market that you have and not the one that you want, right, or the one that you think. And it's the same thing here, is that you always have to keep positive and you always have to believe in your abilities, but know and be able to face reality. At our company, we took about 2.5 years to really build our product. And we were going in a direction in which what we would do is we would basically sell leads to instructors. And that was going pretty well, but it wasn't going fast enough. And we were looking at this going, I don't know if I can build the size of business that I want to build doing what we're doing now. And so what we were able to do is, again, if I'm out talking to people we're trying to recruit, or if I'm out talking to investors, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread, this is awesome, it's unbelievable, this is going through the roof, it's crazy, wow, get on board now, ship's moving on. But we always took a look and said, what are we really dealing with here? What is the reality of the situation? And that allowed us to take our business model and iterate it and keep changing until we found something that works. If you guys have been through startups before, and I see a couple folks that have for sure, you normally, even the smartest ones that I know of, they all go through 2 or 3 or 4 different iterations of their original business model. There's always something that you do that you didn't figure out exactly right, no matter how smart you are. And that's okay. That comes with the territory. It's actually completely normal. When we did our first round of a Series A for our business, we had one of our main investors. He was, okay, walk me through the business. What happened with that? And he's like, okay, so how many times have you changed your business model? I said, we're on our 4th. He said, great, perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Because those guys know. It's like, that's part of it. That's what happens. And if you get by with a couple, you're actually very lucky. Admit what's not working, and if you have the capacity to, always measure everything. Measure everything that you're doing, whether it's internet marketing, regular marketing, your people, anything that you can measure. You need as much data as you can to try to make good judgment. That's something that we've really focused on again at our company, is every single thing is down to a metric, and it's posted on a board so we can see what's working and what's not working. It's the only way that I can run the business. And finally, fail fast. You're going to screw up. That's all I can say. You're going to absolutely screw up. Get used to it. It's comfortable. It's okay. Once you understand that and you go, okay, I know I'm going to take 10 swings with this bat and I'm going to hit 1 time. And then pretty soon you're going to hit 1.5 and 2. But you're going to get better with time. And that's something that we found is just always fail fast and keep learning. Those who don't fail fast, this is the Techcrunch layoff tracker for the month, starting back in 11/08, and there were 329,000 people just in tech startups, just in who Techcrunch covers, and Techcrunch is like the main kind of blog for tech startups. 329,000 people laid off because they didn't fail fast enough, right? They believed their own hype too much. And that's the biggest thing that I see, especially if you're venture-backed, is they've got this bravado that there's nothing backed with it. So that's just something I learned. Third thing, build a team. And your job really as the entrepreneur, as the leader, is to share that vision. Whatever that vision is make sure that it's clear in your own head. And it will also change with time as well. When we first started off, it was not to become the Starbucks of music lessons. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew that what I wanted to do was build something that we're proud of, something real that made a lasting impact on a lot of people. And what we were able to do is we were able to hire smart, passionate people around that idea. And just about every single person we've hired over the past 3 years is still here with the company. And it's not they're not here because of me, they're here because they believe in the idea. And your job as CEO, founder, entrepreneur, is to make sure that you're clear on your own idea and to make sure that you start building a culture of people around that believe kind of the same way you do. They don't have to have the same strengths as you, but you're all in it for the same purpose. Find out what your weaknesses are. Hire those people around you. When we first started off, we worked for 2 years with no pay. 0. Heard everyone just get a little scared. It's okay. And you're like, shit, how'd you find people to do that? We went through a lot of interviews, talked to a lot of people, and I finally found a group of about 4 or 5 people who their wives were either working or they had a hit earlier and was successful and could afford 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, whatever the case was. And that gave us the ramp that we needed to take our product from inception at least to the first iteration. There are people out there who absolutely hate the corporate environment. They absolutely despise it and they're looking for a way out. They will come on board for much, 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 much cheaper than you could ever imagine. Why? Because you have the vision, right? People want to believe. They want to believe in you, they want to believe in the idea, and they want to make their idea, your idea, their own. Let them. Share that, and again, take your strengths, understand what those are, and then hire around the weaknesses. 4th, capital. Is that anyone's issue? Everyone have enough money? I'm not getting anything, guys. Seriously, is this anyone's issue? It's everyone's issue, right? Absolutely. This issue never goes away, right? And when you have people to believe, and I know there's a couple people that's actually raising funds right now, raise enough that's going to allow you to make some mistakes, because you are going to make some mistakes. But something that I've seen people do is they raise too much to the point that what they do is they become cocky and they become lazy and they let the funds take over good, solid strategy, right? If you are struggling and you're like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet, I've got just enough, to make, what it does is it keeps you hungry. If you're starting right from that viewpoint where you have to work for a year or for a little while without any pay, it makes you hungry to understand that when you get a little bit of money behind you, you use it very judiciously because it goes really, really, really quick, right? And if you don't spend it wisely, you've seen the whole internet story of people. I know a guy who raised $11 million to sell beanbags to college students. And he didn't sell many beanbags, but he did buy himself a new house. Not like a small house, like a 6,000 square foot house, right? And it was absolutely ridiculous. And so obviously there are laws and things in place now where VCs are a little bit smarter these days. But again, this is kind of what I learned. Raise enough, but not too much that it makes you lazy. Your forecasts are going to be off. The stuff you try is not going to work. And competitors, which is one thing that folks don't talk much about, they're not going to sit idle while you're building your product, just thinking, oh, well, whatever. They will react. So if you think you've got a better mousetrap, the minute that it goes out, your competitor will copy it. Be prepared for that and have enough capital and staying power and a ramp room to where you can make that happen. And finally, don't try to be perfect with it. We always say perfection is the enemy of good enough. Get it out there. Start iterating. And that's a bit, I was talking with a gentleman a little bit earlier. That's the biggest thing. Take that first step. Find a first client. Do something every single day that gets you just a little bit closer to that goal. Because so many people, we sit back and we just don't know what we do. We have analysis paralysis, right? Oh shit, what the hell am I supposed to do? Do something every single day that takes you closer to the goal. If you are working at another job and you're trying to get your startup, make sure you work from your job from 8 to 6 or whatever you have to do. But from 6:30 to 9 at night, you're working on your own thing. The very first thing in the morning, do something every single day that keeps your mind focused on what am I here to do? What is my ultimate prize? What absolutely do I want to do? And finally, has anyone read that book? Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that here in a second. This says know what you're shooting for. I did mine on a Mac, transferred it to a PC. It's not exactly the same. So this says know what you're shooting for. There are folks in here who want to build a single person business with an idea, maybe hire a couple people and roll it out. That is awesome. There are other people in here that want to build $1 billion business. That is awesome. There's no right or wrong answer to it, but you've got to know what you're shooting for. You have to understand that if I just want 2 or 3 employees, know where your levels are, and you can assign a strategy based on where you want to go. If you're shooting for the stars, you're going to know I'm going to need more capital, I'm going to need more people, I've got to have a better mousetrap. And so have a very, very clear understanding of where it is you want to go. In my case, I want to build a big business. I want to own an industry. That's what I'm here to do. I make no bones about it. Competition, get out of my way, I'll run you over. That's the way I kind of look at things, because we're here to win, and that's part of our culture as a company. And if you're kind of in that mode, the 4-hour work week, it's complete horseshit. Absolutely complete horseshit. I read it twice, and there are good ideas on outsourcing, but at the end of the day, you have got to take care of your people. You've got to take care of your brainchild. And the people alone enough creates innumerable, not only headaches, but a lot of blessing along with it. Something my grandfather always told me, he goes, if you really want to build a big sustainable business, all you have to do is work half day. Does that sound good? Either the first 12 hours or the second 12 hours. And that's absolutely something that we found is true. Why is it true? It's true because if you take a look at a rocket ship, almost half of the fuel is used just getting off the ground. And then once you get off the ground, you can go so much further with less fuel. And then once you get out of the atmosphere, it just chugs almost by itself, right? But where most of us are today, it's that first 1 year, 2 years, 5 years of hard, arduous work. If you're only working a couple hours on it, there's someone else that's working 12. That's the reality, guys. And resolve to do what it takes to get you where you want to go. If it's $2 million in sales, get the plan to do that. But understand no matter what level it is, it requires time, it requires effort, it requires persistence like you wouldn't believe. Of course, you guys do believe it because you're doing it now. So those are the things that my mentors taught me and what we've personally experienced with TakeLessons. So this is my last slide. If you want to get in touch, I'd love to reach out to everybody. This is something that, again, Cliff, I think you're doing a wonderful thing here, and I think we all need to get together and talk more. I think it's something that would help be valuable for everybody. So, follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. Add us on Facebook, whatever the case is, and I'd love to keep in contact with all of you. Anything else? Thank you.